So there is always this Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, GSM, GPRS, 3G, WiMAX. Everybody has a role to play. Now all you're thinking about is how much is my market share, can I encroach upon him and take up his market share and so forth. So in cellular, I personally believe that 3G and its evolution is good enough. And it's going to be the dominant market. There will be some dents coming from mobile WiMAX in some parts of the world, but not enough to actually cause a huge shakedown of 3G family. So I think 3G has consolidated itself because CDMA, which is Qualcomm, which was an opponent in 2G, has joined the bandwagon of 3G LTE or in the families. So and the mobile WiMAX is losing its sheen and the hype that it generated in the cellular. But then I'm selling WiMAX selling WiMAX products. So what does it mean? So I differ with Mr. Chandrasekhar here, saying that 3G LTE or 3G MTS may not be the best technology for giving subscription to broadband subscribers at home, and that's where WiMAX comes in. Too expensive. They're paying 4,400 crores or whatever to get 5 megahertz of spectrum. If I were an operator, I would never use it to give broadband subscription to a housewife or to a student who is always on. It just doesn't make sense. So I'll keep it. It's a premium spectrum, so I'll keep it to generate good revenue per minute, and which would be other applications. So WiMAX has a role to play, but I want to say that WiMAX may not create a huge disruption in the cellular. So that's what my stand is. Now, I'm now giving the color of being an entrepreneur in India. So Indian telecom business is a big business. It's multi-billion-dollar business. Carrier equipment, economic slowdown, no economic slowdown, has been the carrier business, the equipment business is consistently growing. The total telecom, the infrastructure market, I think last year was about 26 billion or something. Being an Indian entrepreneur, the only thing I sit back and ask is how much of it comes to Indian companies. And my interest is to say that here is 3G. It's going to be throwing open, as Vishwanath was talking about, a 1 lakh crore business opportunity. Are we going to say that we are going to be content with 400 crore business, 500 crore business, or are we going to say that we are going to have a substantial stake? And as Vishwanath said, that no matter what, if anybody loses, but the carrier guy, the equipment guy who provides the infrastructure makes a lot of money. And when you think about it, how many Indian companies actually provide that kind of equipment? Almost negligible. So this is where my interest is, to say that here is an opportunity which is going to come whether you like it or not, and it's going to stay whether you like it or not. A lot of money is going to be involved whether we like it or not, and how much of it are we going to take part of it. So like what China did, they have Huawei and ZTE competing with Nokia and giving them shivers. What is there an Indian company giving Nokia shivers? That's the question. So I'll just kind of conclude it there. Thank you.
Thank you, Suresh. He started saying that he's not feeling threatened in his, being a WiMAX company by 3G, but in between there was a Freudian slip. He said that I'm selling WiMAX company. So his company seems to be up on selling WiMAX products. That was a Freudian slip. He's getting out of business.
That's not a Freudian slip, sir.
That was a real slip. Okay. Thank you for being so frank. Okay. We have next Ashish.
Yep.
Mr. Vishwanath is still not arrived, though metaphorically he did say that Vishwanath is here. Okay. Yeah, I think the lesson is if you're taking a part in a seminar, you get into Bangalore on a previous evening, don't take his coming flight from Hyderabad, probably he's somewhere up in the air or stuck in the traffic near Hebbal Bridge, Okay.
Thanks. So I'm Ashish, and I basically run plugins, and I'm going to present a very neutral or generalist view of the entire 3G story. I'm not an expert. I'm not a company which is into manufacturing equipment or content production. So I have more questions and answers. And so, for instance, there are a couple of areas that I would like to touch upon. For instance, is the government ready for 3G? And I mean, we've been talking about 3G, but for instance, what happened, I think in the month of March, was that DoT asked BSNL and MTNL to shut down their 3G service because of security issues. And I mean, the Intelligence Bureau was not ready for 3G. So are we, even though we are talking about 3G auction and how it will change the way we will browse, will communicate with friends and people, but is the government ready for 3G? Similarly, infrastructure. The equipment market, as Sujay pointed out, that it's going at the rate of 40% every year, and the focus right now is still on the phone market. So, and like he mentioned earlier, that the focus right now is how do we actually bring content, but nobody is actually focusing on the infrastructure side. So imagine a day when all the operators have 3G and everybody is selling all the cool stuff to you, but will it scale is a bigger question. And the last part I want to mention is non-voice revenues. If you look at Airtel's last quarterly result, the non-voice revenues were down 20%. So what kind of content will work for 3G in India? When 90% of your subscription base is actually prepaid cards. So to me that's one of the areas, and that shows that BSNL and MTNL haven't been successful in selling 3G. Because it's for the consumer, it's an end service. It doesn't really matter whether 3G is. Airtel actually sold iPhone 3G by saying iPhone 3G because when in a country where there's no 3G. So the point that I'm trying to make is, are we even ready? As a content, are content producers even ready for 3G services? And that's it.
Thank you, Ashish, for making it short and sweet. He is a